As many of you are well aware, one of the big things that you do at a Disney trip is pick up Disney merchandise or Schwag. So this is a video covering the Schwag merchandise, whatever you want to call it, that I picked up on my recent 2016 trip to Disney. So I'll start off with some things that you can kind of get that are souvenir-like, but aren't actually things that you have to pay for. Well, in some cases. First would be this guy here. This is a card for Food and Wine, which you can purchase. Again, we went when it was the Food and Wine Festival. So you can pick this up and load it up with money, so you don't have to keep swiping your credit card or pay with cash. Now, the beauty of this is you can reload this card as many times as you want. So if you run out of money, you can reload it. And it's got a little bungee thing here, and it kind of counts as a gift or something that you would bring home, but it was used there. With that in mind, you also have this. The hotel we stayed at was the Wilderness Lodge, and they have a game area where you can play some arcade games and air hockey. Again, this is one of those things that you load money onto because they don't, take tokens or quarters. So you have a vending machine, you put money into it, and you get this, and you can reload this as many times as you want as well. However, whatever balance is on here is non-refundable, so make sure you use all of this while you're down there. Granted, we only used it once to play a game of air hockey, but hey, it's a Disney souvenir. Going back to Food and Wine, you get this, which is a book of all the possible places that you can go and eat. You have these stickers back here because they don't stamp the book anymore. So the places that you do go, you put the stamp on yourself. And let's see if I can find one, because I'm fairly certain that we did. There we go. See, we put the stamps in several locations there. So again, you can kind of count this as a souvenir of sorts. This book is free, however, the items in the book are not free, and as you can see there, the grilled Patagonia beef skewer we really liked and got quite a few times. So again, it's something that you can bring home that is free from your trip, and that was in Epcot. Now, there is something in Magic Kingdom called Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom. My mother-in-law had actually asked us to pick her up some cards. The last time they went down, I guess they got some cards. They wanted more cards. So it's a game that you play around the Magic Kingdom, and each one of these has unique powers and abilities. We really didn't play the game as we were picking them up for my mother-in-law. They did explain the game to me a little bit when we first picked it up, and you go to certain spots, you can use up to 6 cards to defeat the enemy at that spot. They give you a map here, which shows you all of the locations. And my assumption is as you play the game, you get better cards or more cards. And there you go. So in each of the different areas, you've got Adventureland there, you've got Liberty Square, Frontierland, and USA, and again, like I said, there's all these spots that you go to play the game. Now, the last of the freebie stuff that we have is, and this is because we stayed at the Wilderness Lodge during the rehab of one of the wings, which is being changed over to a DVC area, as well as they building the lodges, kind of like they did at the Polynesian along the waterline there. So because we stayed at a place that is currently going under construction, we get this little thingy here that's welcome home, pardon our pixie dust. You can read all of that if you like, but it's kind of a set of free pins. We've got the little Wilderness Lodge badging there. You could see it's, it's on cardboard, but you get a Construction Mickey, Construction Pluto, and right there, you've got Chippendale. Now, hopefully I can keep this so the shadow of my camera doesn't cover them up, but it actually does say under construction and the Wilderness Lodge logo there. So it is not just a random or universal under construction. Assuming if you were at the Polynesian when the Polynesian was going under construction, it would say Polynesian. So this is a particular pin just for construction at the Wilderness Lodge. So that's kind of cool. And these were waiting for us in the room when we got there. Okay, so moving right along, we'll go into things that we picked up for our friends and family. So my family was watching our cats again, so we picked them up some pins. Now this pin is something I picked up for my mother. She enjoys Nemo and she likes the mine seagulls here. So this was a pin that we picked up for her. It is a blue pin, so you can look up pricing later. Moving along, I have a pin for my brother. If you watched my other haul from 2014, you'll know that I got him a Chippendale Rescue Ranger pin because we kind of grew up on Chippendale, so I figured 'tis the season. It was at the end of October when we went, so it's getting into Thanksgiving, so they had, I'm going to call Thanksgiving Chippendale here, so pick that up for him. That is a silver pin if you're interested. Now for another mutual friend, we picked this up, which is the Art of Animation Studios. She is a artist by trade, I want to say. So we thought this would be a really good pin for her. It was the closest thing we could find for art for her. So that pin is a yellow pin. Now the last one for family would be this guy here. Again, friends with somebody who's in the military, pretty much known him the majority of our lives, so he's like family. Now, this pin has one caveat. And this is what I'm going to say. If you see something in Disney that you like, get it right away. This pin was only available at Disney Springs. We went back to Disney Springs on our last day before we left. So we walked a mile from in Disney Springs to go back to the store that had this because we couldn't find it in any other stores at Disney. They did not have this on the rack anymore. We actually had to ask a cast member what the story was, and that's because this particular pin is a cruise line pin, so it's not something that's normally at the Disney parks. Now, he's in the Navy, so we figured he likes Stitch, it's got the little sailor hat, and he's playing in the sand. He's part of the new Navy, so he's a sand sailor, so we thought this was perfect, but they didn't have it out when we went back, so we had to ask a cast member. They went and checked the back and did find 2 pins left, so we got one of them. So awesome on you, Disney, for, getting your staff to do things like that. So if you see something that you like, buy it right there. Or use the My Shop Disney Experience app, which will let you know that you could have only gotten this at Disney Springs, or you could have ordered it through the app. Now, we didn't learn about that until we talked to the cast member, but we lucked out and there were 2 left, and we got one of them. So this Stitch pin is a silver pin if you are interested. Next, I will move into things that my wife got for herself. And since Star Wars is now a Disney-owned property, and my wife loves Star Wars, she got a lot of Star Wars pins. Here we got a little Stormtrooper with the Pew Pew. Goes very nicely with the Princesses Can Pew Pew shirt that she has. If we flip it around there, that is a blue pin. So, yep, Stormtrooper pin. She also got this very sizable and large and heavy X-Wing pilot pin. And hopefully my camera's picking this up because it's kind of bright right now. This particular pin is a yellow pin. I do kind of wish that this one had 2 backings because it kind of moves around a little bit. But yeah, she got a X-Wing pilot pin for herself, as well as a Join the Resistance pin here. And that is a silver pin. So again, like I said, she really likes Star Wars, so the majority of what she got is Star Wars related. Last of the pins that she got is this Jessica Rabbit pin, with the I'm not bad, I'm drawn that way. We had considered getting this for our other friend that we got the Art of Animation thing for. However, my wife liked it more, so she decided we were going to keep it. So that is a yellow pin for Jessica Rabbit there. Moving away from pins that my wife got, she, like I said, likes Star Wars, so she got this very sizable cup in Star Wars Land in Epcot. Well, not Star Wars Land, the launch bay in Epcot. So it's got all of the Star Wars movies, the original Star Wars movies. Because as you may know, most Star Wars fans do not believe the first 3 movies existed. They thought about redoing them, but decided against it because they figured it would be a terrible movie. It's a very sizable and sturdy cup, and was $19.95, if you can see that there. So again, you got a little lightsaber handle over here. So she liked it, she got it, it's a sturdy mug. The last thing she got was call it a hairpin, in China in Epcot. So they had a whole container full of these. Each was slightly different. The bead here was slightly different. The connecting bead here and the danglies were slightly different. She picked this one up. I want to say it was $8, but I do not know for sure. Yeah, that's something else she picked up. See if I can zoom in a little bit there, fighting the sun, but hopefully you can see the detailing on that. It is a rather nice hairpin. So moving on to things that I picked up for myself. I did not do as many pins as I did last time we went. Just not a lot of them spoke to me really. But I did think it would be a nice idea to get a 2016 Disney World pin, just, you know, marking the day that we went on the trip. So here you have that stylization. They had several others, a lot with characters and so forth in them, but I kind of like this one a little better. It was a little more subtle, less colorful, and you know, I liked it. This particular pin is a yellow pin there, so that's that. I did pick up a Halloween pin because I like this stylization. I have a neck lanyard dangly that's similar to this, more skeleton-like, but I always enjoy the negative space play. So here you have the 3 hitchhiking ghosts in the graveyard, or you have a skeleton's face. So I really enjoy the Haunted Mansion, so hey, this is a nice Haunted Mansion stylized pin. And this particular pin is a silver pin if you're interested, so that is what that one looks like. And the last thing I got, which I was actually able to get this trip, unlike the last trip, was a pin for the hotel we stayed at. We stayed at the Wilderness Lodge, one, because it was the first time my wife ever stayed at the Wilderness Lodge, considering that her childhood consisted mostly of going to Disney. It was nice to be able to go to a place that she had not been before, but also that this is more akin to like what my vacations were like growing up, which was camping and staying at state parks. There were 4 different pins. I liked this one because it had 3D. So if you look there, you can kind of see they're popping off a little bit, and it looks a lot like a state park style pin or badge that you would see. This particular pin is a yellow pin, and again, yeah, I was able to pick up a Wilderness Lodge pin. I was very happy about that. So last but not least were a couple of things that we picked up, you know, for quote unquote our family stuff. So here we have a magnetic picture frame that has pretty much all the major players' signatures on it. It is magnetic and it is a red price tag, so can stick that on our fridge with one of the pictures that we took while we were down at Disney. We spent a lot of time trying to find a ornament that would signify our trip to Disney, because this is our first solo trip to Disney as a family. So couldn't find anything that really said Disney and had the 2016 year on it that we liked. We kind of went with this one, and we'll just pin on 2016 somewhere. But you got the Mickey hat with Tinkerbell, and representing each of the different lands. You've got the Tower of Terror, you've got the Tree of Life, the castle, the giant Epcot ball, as well as a monorail going around it. And in the back there, you've got some fireworks going on, and the rest of the monorail, as well as Walt Disney World. Yeah, I'm fighting the sun here. I'm terribly sorry about that, guys. But yeah, it's a nice Christmas ornament. We kind of are happy. Well, we are happy that we got it. We're happy with the look of it. This was $25. And last but not least, I've started collecting these because we're going to get something for the car, like a roof rack. So I kind of wanted to start slapping stickers of these things on there. So we picked one up for Disney World. This was only in one area, and It may have been in others, however, we did not notice them, but we only saw it in one place. So we picked it up, and if we flip it over there, it is a $6.95 sticker. So yeah, that's really it. Kind of surmises all of the things that we got this particular trip. Did not get as much as we did in our first trip because, well, that was my first trip down to Disney and I went pin crazy. But this time around, there weren't as many pins that spoke to me like the first time we went. So this is just a small little, haul of what we got while we were down there. Hopefully you found this helpful or interesting in some way, shape, or form. If not, I'm sorry to have wasted your time. If you did, I'm happy that I was able to inform you, or at the very least show you some of the items that you can pick up during the 2016 year, which will probably be coming to an end or has ended by the time I put this video up. So thank you for watching. If you have questions or comments, please leave them in the area below. Bye-bye.